The Toronto Hold-Up Squad, in partnership with Peel Regional Police and the York Regional Police Service, want to bring to the media's attention, the public's attention, of 8 brazen takeover robberies that have occurred in the GTA since the 1st of June 2013. To my right on the screen, you'll see photos of these suspects and some video of the suspects as they enter the financial institutions that were robbed since the 1st of June. The robberies all have taken place in financial institutions. There's been 5 in Toronto, 2 in the region of Peel, and 1 in York. In each instance, at least 2 males masked enter the bank, produce a firearm, vault the counter, and remove a quantity of cash before fleeing. We believe that they have a getaway driver in the vehicle. On 2 occasions, on the 25th of June, 2 robberies occurred, 1 in Peel and 1 in Toronto, and there was 3 men that entered the bank at this time. Our concern is the escalation of violence in these robberies. These suspects not only just jump over the counter and make a demand for cash, they also have been pistol whipping tellers, pushing tellers, grabbing tellers by their hair, and in one instance actually grabbed the teller in a chokehold and while demanding the money. Each of the robberies, the individuals are wearing a variety of clothing. None of the clothing other than the gloves seem to be similar in each robbery. The investigators are comparing notes. It is our belief that there's probably more than one group that are involved in these robberies. They could be connected, and we are looking for the public's assistance in providing any information they have on who these suspects could possibly be to end this reign of terror. With me here today is William Crate from the CBA, who's going to speak of a reward in regards to the arrest and conviction of these suspects.
Good morning. On behalf of the Canadian Bankers Association, the Canadian banks and their 275,000 employees, I'd like to thank Staff Inspector Mike Earl from the Toronto Hold-Up Squad for inviting me here today. I'd like to also offer our best wishes to those that were traumatized and injured during these robberies. Robbery is certainly predatory and it's personal. You've already heard about the persons of interest, and you can see the video here that the police are looking for. I can tell you the Toronto Police, Peel Region, and York are working hard to apprehend these individuals, but they clearly need the public's help. There are members of the public who will recognize these people and may know where to find them. So to help with this investigation, I'm announcing today that on behalf of Canada's banks, the Canadian Bankers Association is offering a $50,000 reward for public information leading to the apprehension and conviction of those responsible. We hope that this reward will lead to information needed to stop these criminals so that people can go about their lives freely and with confidence in their communities. Everyone in this room recognizes that bank robberies are a serious issue facing the bank industry, facing our communities, and facing law enforcement. But bank robbery, first and foremost, is a personal crime. It's not an economic crime. The banking industry is not concerned about the money lost at all, but we are concerned about the innocent people that are affected, and that's our employees and our customers. While we often hear about robberies themselves, we rarely hear about the consequences of such unpredictable events. And today you heard from Staff Inspector Earl that people are being traumatized and people are being injured, and we're quite concerned about the escalation of violence that's occurring. We'd like to commend the police, Peel, Toronto, and York for the good work that they're doing and it sure delivers a very clear message that if you rob a bank, you will get caught. Ultimately, that's a very strong deterrence and goes a long way to ensuring that bank branches remain safe for our customers and our branch staff. But despite all these efforts, however, we sometimes need the help of the community, and that's where this reward comes in. If you recognize these individuals, please contact Toronto Police, York Regional Police, Peel Regional Police, or Crime Stoppers. Thank you.
Mr. Craig, can you just tell us, because there's possibly several different suspects involved, we don't know if they're all working together, but to get that $50,000 reward, do they need to tell you who everybody is? Like, what are the parameters there?
So that's going to be left entirely up to the discretion of the Toronto Police, and we're certainly interested in getting these people off the street. So like I said, the reward's available, and it'll be a decision with regard to how that's dispersed or given out in its entirety by Toronto Police.
How many employees were traumatized or injured?
Got to.
Well, in each bank robbery, the employees were traumatized. Some were actually manhandled, as I described, put in headlocks, hair pulled, slapped, and even the last one in New York region, one of the tellers was pistol whipped. These robberies are happening in midday on Saturday afternoons. They're crowded with people, with customers, with employees. There's children in the bank, there's elderly in the bank at the time of these robberies. Not only are the tellers being traumatized, the customers are being traumatized by what's going on in these bank robberies. These individuals are coming in, masked, armed with handguns, and jumping the counters. Anybody in that situation who's an innocent bystander is going to be traumatized some sort, some way when this situation happens. Our concern is the escalation and the amount of robberies that have happened since the 1st of June. It means they're happening at points every other day. I mean, and other points a week apart. They're getting a variety of amounts of money, which isn't our concern. Again, I'm not going to tell you how much cash they're getting. Our concern is the escalation of violence here. These individuals are terrorizing the banking community, and we need to put a stop to it. So I'm reaching out to the public through the media to try and get some types of tips in here so we can get on these individuals to apprehend them.
Any idea how many individuals you might be looking at?
I can't tell you for sure. Their clothing has changed. The descriptions are very similar in a lot of the robberies. The descriptions are anywhere from 5'8" to 6 feet. Male black suspects and youthful, so probably early 20s. And that is a similar description throughout all the robberies. Just through MO and for some of the language they're using, which I'm not going to get into, I definitely believe there's two groups. That's my belief. I could be wrong, and there could be more than two groups involved in these, or there could be a crossover of individuals in both groups, which we've seen before in robbery investigations by word of mouth of what happens out here in the streets. All we need is a tip to lead to one of these individuals, which may start the domino effect, and the investigation can take over from there and identify all these people.
How long are they in the banks for? Is it pretty quick? They're in, they're out? They're
in very quick. I mean, a matter of jumping the counters and emptying a few drawers of cash. That's how quick they're in. They're ordering people to the floor and they're pushing them around, which is causing our sense of urgency to get rid of these guys off the streets and put them in jail, because they're actually manhandling, pushing, and shoving because they want to get in and out very quickly. So they don't move fast enough, or they're in their way. They're knocking them around. So we need to get these people off the street.
What about vehicles? Are they seen fleeing in particular vehicles?
We've had a variety of descriptions of vehicles over the course of the investigation, but none that we can confirm are actually related to the suspects. Just vehicles leaving the scene shortly after the robbery. So nothing I can put out to the media is in relation that we're looking for so-and-so vehicle. There's no doubt in our mind that their vehicles are being used in these robberies from the locations, they're in plazas, they're in areas where there's no TTC access. So they're taking vehicles. We're just not sure. We don't have a consistent vehicle description at this time.
Is there any sign that there's pre-planning here?
Well, they obviously know where the money is kept, but it doesn't need a lot of pre-planning for that when you go to the bank a few times. But my belief is that there no doubt is some type of pre-planning by the locations of where these robberies are taking place. They're in strip malls. They're areas where they can easily get access to the 401 or to the expressways.
Do you think they would have scouted the locations beforehand?
That's just my belief. Again, I don't know for sure until we arrest these individuals, but just where the locations they are, I believe they've scouted out the location for access routes to when they leave the premises.
Probably even been inside these banks?
They very well could be.
Does this go against what the Bankers Association has been saying for the past few years, that the number of bank robberies is down, but we're seeing such an increase in just the past 2 months?
No, the bank robberies are down. The CBA is right on their numbers. The bank robberies are down, but we want to get in front of this with the public and with the CBA. If we see a spike in violent crime like this in the banking institutions, we need to get in front of this, get it out to the media immediately, to warn the banks this is going on also, but also tells the public what's going on, and maybe somebody out there knows that their son has now have a multitude of money and they're not working and they're buying all kinds of clothes and it looks like that's the clothes he's wearing, that type of thing. And maybe it'll trigger some memories to cause people to make some phone calls, whether it to be Crime Stoppers or the Hold Up Squad. So we can get on these individuals as soon as possible.
And they obviously don't care that they're being seen, I mean, they know they're gonna be on camera by the second they walk in that bank.
Oh, absolutely, but their faces are covered. They're wearing sunglasses and hoodies and bandanas. So they know that the cameras are out there. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, publicizing bank robbery photos, and they know that there's cameras in every situation, so they are taking precautions to try and hide their identity. But they're also armed with handguns, and the violence is escalating, so here we are. Let's try and get these individuals.
You said that there was one that involved 3 suspects?
There was 2 bank robberies on the same day. I believe it was Tuesday, the 25th of June. One on Shepherd Avenue in Toronto, and that's the bank where at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where one of the bandits puts the teller actually in a headlock. There's some of the images that we've seen. There's children in the banks. On that same day, they did a bank robbery in Peel Regional at 9:30 in the morning at the National Bank on Eglinton Avenue. And at both those banks, there's 3 suspects in the bank robbery.
But the other 6 only had 2 suspects?
That's correct, but we believe that there very well could be a driver, a getaway vehicle involved.
So the ones in Peel, Mississauga, and Brampton, watching those scroll go by here.
There's 2 in Peel Region, and there's 1 in York Region, which is the last robbery that occurred just on the 25th of July.
What cities in Peel?
One's in Mississauga on Eglinton Avenue, and I believe the other one's on McLaughlin Road, which I'm not sure if that's Mississauga or Brampton.
Just watching here.
From your
think it's Brandon.
experience, Inspector, just, you deal with this obviously quite a bit. How would you describe these robberies compared to others that you've investigated?
Well, the normal course of bank robberies over the years have been relatively nonviolent. I mean, a lot of the bank robbers go in with a note and try to get in and out of a bank without too much detection. These robberies cry out for us to stop because these individuals are brazen and bold, jumping counters and terrorizing everybody that's in the bank at the time. They're trying to make a statement, and that's what we're trying to stop.
Last question. Okay, thank you for attending today's conference. It's now concluded.
Thank you.